Welcome back. Senator Oloriegbe, the Chairman, Senate Committee on Health, is still with us on the program tonight. And we were talking about the NIN enrollment. You think that it should stop the way it is currently being run. So what should be done?
Definitely. I think, like what I saw, what ought to be done is, one, we need to create the enabling environment that will be COVID-19 compliant. As we are trying to solve a problem, we are creating more problems. The NIN registration is about part of effort to solve our security problems, because the essence of the registration and linking it with the SIM card is to ensure that the use of communication medium, let me just put it like that, to commit crime is reduced or eliminated, because they want every card to be traceable and so on. But when we do that, we create health problems which can lead to death. So in my view, one, it should be stopped, and then more resources should be allocated to the agencies to have much more enabling environment, which will be you create centers, it is better organized. People are probably because the way things should be done, it should be in such a way that you should know your holding capacity and your, what I would call the operating capacity. If you have a center, how many people can I attend to in a day? And then you announce that. So it could probably be, you come, pick it, you can use this current mobile to be able to say, okay, book, and then you have a time to come. So the center will now be more compliant with COVID-19. This is what I want to say. So what I'm saying, that's why I said it's not the way I didn't say stop it, because it has its effect, it has its reasons, but then we need to work out a system that will be COVID-19 compliant. It's not only about COVID-19 again, it's also about some other things, because with what you see in several of the centers, it creates more health problems. Not only about COVID-19 transmission, but people become anxiety, people rush, they tend to force themselves. And it has economic impact. People spend more time that's supposed to be spent productively to be able to generate income. They spend it in trying to register. So we should think through. I mean, with this is our age of technology. We should be able to use technology better to do what we are doing.
Okay, I mean, because seeing those pictures there, I mean, it is a lot of concern for Nigerians. But let's move on to the talk about vaccines, because I mean, it's been a major source of discussion in recent times in the polity. So the government says we're meant to get vaccines by the end of this month. Some experts say maybe that might not be possible, seeing the rush for vaccines. But more importantly, aside the whole talk about deployment, is acceptance. Okay, so yes, you can get all the vaccines you need, you can deploy them, but you will still need to give people. And I'm sure you've been following discussions on social media, off social media, what people think about vaccines. I mean, the governor of Kogi State, for example, saying, God forbid, there's something cynical about this. So for you first, what's your take on this?
Well, one, I'm a scientist, and I'm a trained scientist. And whatever I want to say should be based on science. And with due respect to digress, like what we are talking in America, the immediate past president was acting not based on science. And so also every leader must reason and act on science. As a scientist, I'm aware that no any kind of drug, including vaccines, will be approved for use for human without it going through the necessary scientific rigors. And definitely no scientist worth of his salt and no medical personnel worth of his salt will administer anything to human without it being certified that it is safe and will deliver the right efficacy. So having said that, a lot of things that are on social media are fake, and there are a lot of fake news going on. We're in the modern era where people can sit down and just manufacture anything. The second thing I want to say is that part of the fake news is that people escalate what ought not to be. There's no any drug in this world that don't have two kinds of reactions, which are abnormal. One may be what we call expected side effect, which will be detected in some people, which can be reported. The other one is what we call idiosyncrasy, which is an unexpected reaction to a drug. I recall when I was in medical school and so on, when we were being taught Panadol, we were told a Panadol, as common as it is, can kill immediately when it's at normal dose by some people. Who are these people? You may not know them. until when it happens, and that's unfortunate. And you know, Panadol is found everywhere. Something you say, even the advertisement will say, take it for 3 days. When it didn't have effect, go to a doctor. But you may only take it once and die if you have what you call an idiosyncratic reaction. So now coming to vaccine. The vaccines that we have now, one, we must, first of all, scientifically, they are being approved for emergency use. And most of the vaccines, the fact is that it's not that we have had experience for a long time on them, unlike many vaccines. In which case, for them to be approved for emergency use, they have been tested, and there are some cautions, or which are said, because like the Pfizer, when it was approved, certain categories of people are saying, don't take it. Pregnant women, children under 16, if you have low, what we call conditions that are immunosuppressed, and then if you have had a reaction to something like that before. They put all these conditions. It means there are no enough evidence as regards that. For other groups, they've given it to people. Every vaccine will go through 3 trials. They want to call the primary, secondary, and the 3rd trial. And except they pass this, even that emergency will not be approved. So for us in Nigeria, whatever vaccines that will be administered will be the one that our regulatory authority, regulatory bodies, which is NAFDAC, using our scientists, we satisfy that it's like that. So my opinion is that vaccines that have been proven to be safe and to be efficacious, that is to be able to work and prevent the disease, should be taken by people. Now, the challenge of people being against vaccines is not new. Blood, as it is, as useful as it is, which has been known for ages to save life, there are still people, there are religious groups that will say, no, don't give blood. And they will sign. So there's also that issue of choice of individual. But your choice as individual may have consequence for others. And that's why public health issue comes in, where if you don't, then it has a consequence on others.
So would you be looking at legislating, maybe to make this compulsory?
No. I think that also human rights, human choice will come in. We have to look at the public health component of that. But I think more of what we need to do is to do what we call social communications, to be able to, and that has been started by the which is NPS, National Primary Health Agency, to be able to provide information to people, to be open about it, to say the truth, and to say what is known and what is unknown. And then based on this, to be able to demonstrate to people that this thing works.
You know, the role of leaders, political leaders, government and all, in influencing people is also quite important. You referenced the former president of the United States and some of the things he said that affected the fight against COVID. So for you, because you're a leader in your constituency in the National Assembly, how are you planning to go about this? We've heard leaders say, well, I'm going to go in public and take the vaccine. Is that something you
Yes, it's something that we do. We've had this discussion with the National Primary Health Agency. Not only me, the leadership of National Assembly, I'm aware, I'm the Senate President, Deputy Senate President, when we had interaction in December on these issues. And in fact, even the President of the country and some other leaders will do open and public acceptance of the vaccines once it comes. And we'll do this based on the fact that whatever vaccines that comes, the first vaccine that will be given to Nigeria will be certified by Nigerians, by Nigerian scientists, by Nigerian regulatory body. That is one. Two, there's one thing just I want to mention quickly. People even went into fake to say, oh, what is coming to Africa or so on will be special, it's different from what they are giving. Some people say it is plastic. This cannot happen. Currently, the vaccines that we use on our children, none of them is manufactured here. They are coming from Europe and America. As you get my point. I mean, we have vaccines that get BCG, DPT, oral polio, yellow fever, and so on.
I think some of them
and then when we are taking this, why have not, if they want to do anything against us, quote, why have they not used that? Why would they wait for, what do you call it?
The COVID vaccine.
COVID vaccines. And of course, maybe some other people, let me just debunk. The only new thing in the COVID vaccine is the messenger RNA vaccines, which is one by Pfizer and the one by Moderna. But there are others, there are AstraZeneca, so which are the normal technology. But even this one, the research on them has started before COVID, based on MERS and other viruses that have happened. But what happened, it was fast-tracked because of the need. We can see that in this generation, the last 100 years, this is one of the pandemics we've had. The last pandemic, as reported, was in 1918. which was the influenza pandemic then. So, but 1918 and 2019, when this happened, technology, human knowledge, and so on has increased. Well, that is why.
Pardon me, because a lot of people reference some of those drugs and they say not for use in this certain country, and they say, oh, maybe that's why it's not for us, or at least it's meant to harm us because they're not meant to use it in those other countries.
Those ones, I'm sorry to say, that particular one, somebody sent it to me, and specifically I sent it to